Hi guys, this is your learning coach Vinod Kumar. This is my first live session as the learning coach. So thank you so much for being here and watching me live. Just want a small clarification. I just want to know whether you are able to hear me properly. This is going to be an interactive session. So if you are able to hear me properly, just say hi so that I know that you are here. Just say hi in the comments. So I know you are here and able to hear me, right? Okay, while you do that, let me give you a small brief introduction about me and why I'm doing this session. So this session is called Tools to Help You Learn and Score Better Marks. So for the past 13 years, I have been in the education sector, working in classrooms day in and day out on enhancing learning experiences for kids. So we curate unique learning experiences which are meaningful and which would be liked by kids. So this is kind of like my specialty where I work on. So in this session I'm gonna share with children how they can learn, how they can retain concepts that they have learned, and how they can make use of it during examination. So technically I'm not an examination kind of guy. I don't believe in the concept of examination. So but over here what we are trying to do is that say learning per se. So once learning happens, then you can reproduce it either for life or for exams or for any other purposes. So that's the core motive of this workshop. I'm gonna bring my screen here. Okay, fantastic. So this is what we are going to be learning: tools to learn and score good marks. Okay, the first thing that you need to do in order to master learning is to improve your brain. See, the brain is where everything happens in our body. So every piece of information that you have, it gets stored in your brain. So whatever you need to do, your brain tells it and then you do it. So there are a lot of ways in which you can improve your memory. If you do not work on your brain, if you do not work on your memory, whatever you do in most cases would go down to waste. Okay. Hi Muthulakshmi. So I have Muthulakshmi here with us. Hi, thank you so much for being here. So yes. So how do you increase memory is by see, I also learned this concept very recently from a friend of mine. He's a memory coach, he's a mind trainer. So he was talking about different kinds of memories that are stored in our brain. So there are short-term memories and there are long-term memories. So short-term memories are things like what you did yesterday, what you ate in the morning, and kind of stuff like that, what you learned yesterday, and stuff like that. Long-term memories are like your birth date, your father's name, your mother's name, kind of stuff like that. So what he was saying was that if we are able to move the short-term memory to our long-term memory, then we will be able to recollect them very fast. So recollect them for a very long period of time. So for instance, he gave a fantastic example. Yes, Muthulakshmi, I'm covering that. So he gave a fantastic example. So if I'm going to ask you what you ate last week, last Sunday, so it will be kind of like difficult. So but if you associate whatever you are learning with certain objects and then try to recollect them, then it becomes an easier process. This is not a one-time thing that you can just sit and learn, but over time, if you are able to move your short-term memory to long-term memory, you will be able to do phenomenal things. So whatever you have learned right now in 5th grade or 6th grade or 7th grade, you will be able to remember it 30 years later, 40 years later. And he said the best way to do that is through association and recollection. So association is you associate it with something that is personal to you, and then you recollect it by remembering that personal things. So it was kind of like a very fun thing. If you want to know more about it, that's a lecture in Tamil. You can find it in the Facebook channel and also in the YouTube channel. So wherever you are watching it, you will be able to watch that. Yeah, that's on memory. Fantastic. So this is number one trick about memory. Okay, next one is focus. So whenever you are sitting down to learn, when your memory gives the best is when you are able to focus. So when you see, for parents, if you are watching this, when your children are sitting down to learn, make them sit in a decluttered environment. Don't make them sit in front of a big mess. So if they have a chair, if they have a dedicated learning space, clean up the learning space, have it properly demarcated areas. The more decluttered the area is, the more focus you can bring into learning. So number one. Number two, the area should also be distraction free. So you cannot let your children study while you are watching a television serial. So if you are very focused that your children have to study, want to study, then parents have to forego on TV viewing time. Okay, so they should be in a focused area, distraction free, and an uncluttered area, which could help them with their focus. Number one. Number three. So structure your study time. Okay, so what is the structure your study time is? You have to bring about a routine. Okay, you cannot have like, hey, tomorrow I have an exam, so today I would study. This doesn't work. So every day, I don't believe in the concept of you have to study 24/7. So my school principal used to tell me, morning 24/7 you study, evening 24/7 you study. Okay, so that's not the philosophy. That's not required to study. If you would study probably 20 to 30 minutes a day, that is more than enough if you follow the right brain memory techniques. Okay, so when you structure your time, study it in such a way that, hey, for 15 minutes I'm going to collect all the information about what I'm going to study. So for the next 10 minutes, let me take notes. So the next 10 minutes, let me recollect whatever I have learned. Kind of like that. You can bring about a routine saying that, hey, this is how I'm going to study. So this becomes much easier when you start applying it. Okay, so we are continuing on memory, how to improve your memory. So the next thing that you can do is you can play memory games. So there are a lot of games available. You can just search for in your Android phone, or in your iOS devices. So you will find a lot of memory games. So what memory games does is, it keeps your brain always brushed up and engaged. So sometimes we don't give a lot of work to our brain. So these memory games try to do that. In my house, me and my children, everybody in my house, we play a game called Q Brain. So it's very simple. It's a memory game. So it's a 1-player game, 2-player game, a fantastic game. So you can find a similar kind of a game for you, and keep doing that every day. At least play it once. So when you play it once, you it's like vacuuming your brain. So it's a good opportunity. So the next thing that you can do is learn to store data in your brain. Okay, so you can learn how you could store data. See, this is a very, very important part. How you store data determines how you can recollect it back. So if you are going to store data in a haphazard way, so just recollect how your desktop would be. So how your computer would be. If you are going to have a very decluttered computer, if I ask you to search for something, it will take you half an hour, 30 minutes to search for your file. Okay, that should not happen. If you have a very, very systematic way of storing data in your computer, it would be very easy for you to recollect it back. Okay, similar way, I want you to store data in your brain, and take mind mapping. Okay, so Ganesh is asking me, am I live? Yes, Ganesh, I am live. So Hema Malini, it's buffering. So I'm sorry, but for me, my connection is about 200 Mbps speed. So from my end, it's kind of like going good. Probably at your end, since it's a Sunday, a lot of data is being consumed. This is a live video, so you can probably watch this live video a little later also. This is going to be there in this page for some time. Again, I'll just rephrase what we are trying to do here. So this is a 30-minute session. First 20 minutes, I'm going to take it up to explain how what you can do, different tools that you can use to enhance your memory, enhance your brain power, enhance your learning abilities. And then last 10 minutes we are going to take question and answer. Okay, how to recall, I'll tell you at the end, Muthulakshmi. Thank you. So mind mapping is a very, very important tool for learners. So unfortunately, schools don't teach this. I don't know why. So mind mapping is where you use pictures, you use different modes with which our brain would recollect objects and store data in a picturestic format. So you would have heard this famous saying, one picture is equal to 1,000 words. So that is very similar to your brain. So if you have 1,000-word lesson, one picture can store that 1,000-word lesson in your brain. So that's how powerful mind mapping is. So there are different tools with which you can mind map. I'll tell you about the tools later. Okay, so the another very important aspect that schools fail to do in the classroom is that make children make use of both sides of the brain. So there is the left brain and the right brain. Left brain takes care of our creative things, and right brain takes care of rules and structured things. So most times inside a classroom, it's the right brain which is brought into place. Hey, copy this. Hey, don't do this. Hey, sit silently. Repeat after me. So this is what this is how the classroom is structured. So we cannot say that it's wrong, but using only the right brain will not be enough for the development of the child. So learning abilities of the child. So what they could do to enhance the experience inside the classroom is start using different colors. Start writing. There's a different a book called Scientific Journal, so which says how you have to use your classworks and homeworks. So on the right hand side, you will have all the notes that are given by the teachers. On the left hand side, would have colorful pictures, diagrams, and mind maps, and kind of stuff like that, which are created by the children with the data on the right hand side. So when you start taking notes this way, automatically you are assigning your brain to store it in a different way. So it becomes much more easy for children to recollect things. Okay, the next thing is to constantly learn new things. So I think this would be a contrary thing. So a lot of people would be like, stop learning new things, start doing things. But our brain is made in such a way that every time you do something new, the gray matter in our brain gets activated every time that you do something new. So research suggests that every month starts doing something new, or every year take up a commitment that you are going to learn something new. For instance, this year we had about 300-400 students who joined us to learn about astronomy. This is something new. Okay, next year you can start learning about how to play a Rubik's cube. That would be new. So next year you could start learning a language. That could be new. So every time that you start learning something new, the gray matter starts getting bright, and it's going to keep your brain active. So when the gray matter starts getting activated, the process is called as pruning it. So while pruning it, what they say is that you use it or you lose it. So you learn something, and then if you are going to forget about it, it is not going to help you to take it forward for a longer period of time. So when you learn something, you use it continuously. So when you learn a language, you start practicing it. When you learn a skill, you start practicing it, you start doing it. So if you don't do it, again you are going to lose it. So this is how our brain says. So how do we apply this to classroom learning? Pruning it. Okay, if you are going to learn a concept today, you have to recollect it. So first, I think again in the lesson, my friend, the mind trainer, gave us this rule. So he said 24/7, and then 14 or 30 days, I think. So he said, if you learn something yesterday, next day revise it. Revise it the next day. So let's say today you are learning about how to learn. Tomorrow I want you to just revise it, just go through what are the things that we learned. So for instance, you can just rerun this video while you are cooking or while you're doing something, and then you can ask your children what are the things. Hey, what was gray matter? So how do we learn new things? What are the new things that we are going to learn? You can discuss it. This is also kind of like a learning. Next 7 days later, again do that. So first 24 hours you do that. So tomorrow on Monday you recollect the concept, and then next Monday you again set aside a time to recollect what you have done last Monday. Okay, so 24/7, and then again 30 days later you have to recollect it one more time. So what happens is, I'm not sure if it's the 30 days or the 14-day part. So, but what happens is you can recollect, so this will help you in moving your short-term memory into long-term memory. So this is about learning new things. So this year I have a commitment that I'm going to learn how to play Rubik's Cube. I also bought a course on Udemy on how to play Rubik's Cube. So this is my commitment for this year. So third thing is about learning styles. So there are different learning styles. There are 3 different kinds of learning styles. One is the auditory learner, another one is the visual learner, and another one is the kinesthetic learner. So the auditory learner are people who listen, who learn by listening. So for them, if you are going to play a video, they would watch and they would listen, but the listening part is more for them. So they are people who will be drawing and watching a movie. Okay, they would be doing something else and they would be watching a movie. So these are the auditory learners. Visual learners are people who read, people who watch and learn. Okay, kinesthetic learners are people who do things and learn. So understand your learning styles, and based on that, provide take up more on how to go about this learning. So for instance, I'll take my example. So I thought I am I am a highly visual learner. So I would learn more when I see things. I would learn more when I look at a video and learn. But what normally happens is that since I'm a visual learner, I try to do most of the things through how I like it. So in the early years, for children especially, I would not suggest you to follow learning styles. I want you to know what your learning styles is, but don't just neglect the other 2 styles. So for instance, I am a very, very poor kinesthetic learner. So if I learn a concept, I am good enough to conceptualize it, visualize it, and then understand it. But if you are going to ask me to apply it, I won't be able to apply it. Okay, so this I did because from a younger age I have been brought up this way. So I'm slowly trying to rectify that and include more of all different kinds of learning styles to me. For your children, my humble suggestion is do not miss out on the other 2 learning styles. So let's say your kids are visual learners, then give them visual learners. So let's say 60% of what they are going to learn is through visual learning. Another 50% of it you can give it them through auditory learning. Another 50% of it you can give it to them through kinesthetic learning. Okay, so it need not be just 80-90% of visual learning. So if you're going to just buy Byju's, so that's not going to be the end of the world for your kids. So that's what I'm trying to say. Even though you get a visual aid for your children, then see how you can add up that element, add up that learning curve from kinesthetic learning. So make them listen to people. Okay, so through auditory learning, so you can mix match a lot of this and bring about some change. Okay, next up. Okay, next is Steadfast Learning. So Steadfast Learning, I'm the founder of Steadfast Learning pedagogy. So in Steadfast, we say that your children are consumers of knowledge. Your children have been consumers of knowledge. They have been consuming loads and loads of knowledge. You go in the morning to the school, they give you knowledge. So you consume it, you consume it, you consume it. Classrooms, you consume it. When you come back home, online classes, you consume it. what happens was, see, this consumer of knowledge was kind of like good. So how to read books, I'll cover in a little while. So consumers of knowledge, being a consumer of knowledge, you have been consuming for a long period of time. See, previous generation, we were, purebred consumers of knowledge because we needed so much of knowledge. But today, knowledge is applied everywhere, knowledge is available everywhere. So previously, during my school days, the most intelligent person inside my class was my teacher. So if my teacher would have taught me the earth is flat, I would have learned that the earth is flat. But today, that's not the case. The most intelligent person inside the classroom is Alexa or Google Home. Okay, so if the teacher is going to say, hey, the earth is flat, Alexa will correct. Google said the earth is not flat, the earth is round, kind of stuff like that. So what children have to do is move away from being a consumer of knowledge to become a creator of knowledge. So how do you become a creator of knowledge? So consumer of knowledge means read, learn, and listen. So all these are things that you consume. And by creation, I mean teach, write, create. Okay, so when you read a subject, you can go teach others. So when you let's say read a new topic, then what you could do is you could go and write a blog for the world to see. So even if the world doesn't see, the writing, the experience of writing alone will help you retain that concept for a long period of time. You can create a YouTube video. So a YouTube video is much easier to create. So all these things will help you in retaining the knowledge that you have gained with the program. Okay, so how do you create? So I'm going to give you some more aspects of how do you create. So the first thing is that you can create a podcast. You can use a tool called Anchor FM. So all the tools that I have given out right now to you are free of cost. So you don't have to spend any money to use any of these tools. So the first tool is called Anchor FM. So it's a podcast tool where children can create their own podcasts. So podcasts are listening tools. So let's say they learn a subject in history. So they can create a podcast on what could have happened during that time. So to do that podcast, they would research more. When they research more, all the things that I have said earlier, they would write down. They would take notes. They would create a wish list of what to be spoken in the podcast, and then go by and deliver the podcast. So all these things would fall in place when they build something. So Anchor FM helps you build a podcast for free. And then videos. So if you want to make videos, every one of us have got mobile phones with us now. So we can very easily grab a mobile phone and start making videos. So the next one is that if they are very much interested to post more details about what they are learning, they could build a website for their own. So there are tools like Wix, there are tools like Squarespace, there are tools like Weebly, which provides you with a free website access. So, and it's so easy, drag and drop features to create a website. So my favorite is writing blogs. So because writing gives a different kind of mind space for creators. So that's why the best of the creators are writers. So creative writers, that's why they call the profession as creative writing. So blogs, to write blogs, you can use a platform called Medium, which is again free of cost. Every day hundreds and thousands of blogs are published, and most of my students write blogs. So I encourage them to write blogs about astronomy. So I encourage them to write blogs about what they are studying, why they are studying. So blog can be a medium for them to vent out all the anguishes that they have in their surrounding. So next one is to use design tools. You can always use Canva to do design tools. Canva is again a free tool, drag and drop features. My 7-year-old son knows how to use Canva to design stuff. So it's that easy. Next one is mind mapping. I've told you what mind mapping is, how useful mind mapping is. Start doing mind mapping from today. Maybe you could do a mind map of this class and share in the comment box over here. So I'll give you a feedback how it was. So you can use this tool called MindMeister. So MindMeister is again free. It's a fantastic tool to start mind mapping. You don't need to be a great mind mapper to start that. You can just start it and learn from there. To do presentations, you can do PowerPoint, and you can also do demonstrations. So demonstrations are you learn something, you go to a community, and you engage them, teach them what you have learned. So for instance, today you have learned how to learn, then probably what you could do is you could call up a few of your friends in your community, your neighbors, and explain to them what are the different tools and how they can also get benefited out of it. Because when you do that, you retain the concept for a longer time. So the more you give, the more you get. So that's the funda about our brain. So this is what I wanted to cover up. Now let me go down for questions. So if you have any questions, do type down. So Muthulakshmi asked me a question: how to read books. Okay, so how to read a book or how to read books. So there are different ways in which you can read books. So different kinds of books need different kinds of reading. So for instance, you are reading a technical book. So you are reading physics. You cannot go by just like that, glancing through the subject. So you need to start understanding it. So take time, understand the point, and then move over to the next point. So this is one thing. There is this concept called speed reading. Speed reading is glancing through books to gather important points. So you don't go and read the book per se, but you glance through them. So when you glance through them, you get important points. You get 1 point here, you get 1 point here, you get 1 point there. So this way it happens. Once you glance through the entire page, your brain would start quickly trying to associate what is being said in that page. So sometimes when you are reading a novel kind of a thing like that, the moment that you read the book, you will be able to quickly recollect what has happened in that story. So if you read the first line and the last line, you would know what has happened in the page. So this is how you read novels. And then English, when you read, I always tell my students, whenever you're reading something in literature, imagine. So imagination is the biggest gift that God has given us. So imagine that you are the subject. So take time to read that book. You don't have to see, there's no compulsion that you need to finish a book within a day. So you can take as much time, but the more time that you take, try to imagine, try to live through that book. So that's the experience that books give us. So how to get children interest in maths? First, understand why maths is used. So the biggest mistake that we feel right now is that again I have Jayakantam also asking me the question, how to get interest in maths. Why do you learn? I want to ask you this question. Why do you learn? Can you just type down why do you learn? Why do you go to school? Why do you go to college? Why do you do that? There are 9 of you watching it live. So if I could have an answer from one of you, I'd be really happy. Why do you learn? Why do you study? Why do you go to college? Most of us do that to earn money. Okay, to earn money is mathematics. Okay, you are giving something, you are taking something. Okay, maths is everywhere around us. To improve knowledge, you don't have to go to a school or college. You can just sit at home. You can sit at home and Google. So Google is the universe of knowledge. So you don't have to go to home. To get your job, yes, to get your job, to make money, to have a happy living, and to do all these things, the basics is mathematics. If you do not know mathematics, you will not succeed in life. You will not fall in love with numbers. The more you fall in love with numbers, that's when you take up every rich guy in this world. You ask him why he became rich. He would say he would love numbers. He would love to make money. He would love to count. He would love to give. He would love to even take. Okay, this is the most simplistic way of looking at mathematics. Everything that we do in our life is mathematics. Everything that we do, we walk, mathematics. We take steps, so we move from one place to another, mathematics. Okay, so there is maths everywhere around us. You just name it as calculus, you just name it as trigonometry and stuff like that, which makes kids boring. So if you could include a little bit of blended learning into mathematics, then it will become the most fun subject to ever learn. So just imagine, I'll be able to tell you exactly how many steps that I have to take from here to any of your homes. Okay, this is calculus. Okay, so what is happening is that children do not know why they are studying mathematics, and that's the reason why most of them feel that mathematics is kind of like tough. So if I'm going to give you 1 lakh rupees and make them spend that, so it becomes an easier task. That's mathematics for you. Okay, about accountancy, I am not an accountant, so I'm not sure how I can assist you with accountancy. But again, it applies the same rule as mathematics. Okay. Uma Mageshwari has asked me, give example for mind mapping. Let me just check if I can screen share a mind map for you. Okay, I have a mind map with me here. Okay, so as you see, this is a mind map. So it talks about the features and benefits of a mind map. So it says mind map. How do you plan a mind map? So you see the different use of colors. Okay, and different paths that it takes. So there is see the planning, creativity, productivity, collaboration, benefits. All these are the important parts, and each important part has got subplots. So you have projects, you have goals, you have strategies. Projects are taken over to overview. So similar to this way, you could create mind maps for all the lessons that you can do. So let me just check a mind map for a lesson plan. Okay, so I think this one is good. This one's too small. Okay, someone has a solar system lesson plan. Let me see if that one opens up. Okay, here is a solar system. Okay, here is a simple lesson plan for mind mapping again. Okay, guys, I think you can get the idea. So you can just search for how to build a mind map, and you will be able to get more. So next question is from Sridhar. How can we memorize it quickly? See, the way that we can memorize is two options. So I have told you, you have to associate with things and then recollect it. Preferably, if you are more interested in knowing how to memorize things, look at the next video in this same channel. So if you are watching in the YouTube, there is a channel, there is a video called Memory Tools with Tamil Chelvan. So look at that video. He is probably a better authority to tell you about how to recollect things from your memory. So that would help you there. So, but the basic function is this thing, three things. So first one, from short-term memory, you have to move it to your long-term memory. Next thing is that you have to, how do you store things, is that you have to associate and then recollect. So if I want to associate your name Sridhar, I would probably associate it with a friend of my dad's, Sridhar, or another friend of mine. Okay, and then I'll try to bring you in YouTube. So I try to bring about an association to you. So every time I hear of this name Sridhar, then I try to remember YouTube and then a friend of mine, and I know who you are. Okay, so that's how you associate and then remember. And the third thing is recollection. So the 24/7 14 or 30 pattern that I told you a little while earlier. Okay, so that's it. how to concentrate more. As I told you, to concentrate, see, the environment plays a huge role in concentration. So if you are going to sit in a distracted environment, an environment which will where the phone rings constantly, an environment where every second there's a ping 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 WhatsApp from your friends, an environment where TV is running, okay, distraction is happening, then 100% you will not be able to concentrate. So there are two things that the philosophy of Japanese Zen teaches you about concentrating. First thing, have the place in a create a Zen kind of an environment. So a place where kids can sit calm, the place is clean, the place is kind of like, neatly arranged. So every time that they are going to sit in the evening, the place should be neatly arranged, and then probably start learning. So distraction free environment and a Zen area. So this will help you in concentrating more. So Hema Malini is asking me, please answer my question. Hema Malini, how to score 90 above in maths? See, as I'm telling you, my focus is on making children fall in love with maths. So if you want, next week the same time, I'll take up a session on why you should fall in love with maths. Okay, but getting 90 or 100 or it doesn't matter. So I actually love maths. It's because I really like numbers. So I really like finding out things. So my suggestion is, let's work towards getting that. Okay, don't worry about marks will automatically fall in place. So how to get, Uma Mageshwari is asking another question, how to get interest in studies but you can't sit for 10 minutes? Okay, another fantastic question, Uma Mageshwari. So my suggestions, don't sit for more than 10 minutes. So sit for 10 minutes, concentrate, create a lesson, create a goal. Okay, for 10 minutes I'm going to memorize, or I'm going to think about, I'm going to revise a subject. Okay, in 10 minutes do that. Okay, put an alarm, in 10 minutes do that, and take a 5-minute break or take a 10-minute break, and then go back, reiterate the next thing. So this is a much better approach for your brain than sitting for 2 hours continuously opening your book and thinking about something else. Don't do that. So take 10 or 15 minutes short sessions. So this is called as accelerated learning. So you take a short period of time and bombard them with too much of information. Okay, bombard with information. Okay, stress yourself within that short period of time to get that information into you. Okay, and then take a break. Immediately after 15 minutes, take a break, close it up. So listen to a song, listen to something that would suit you. Don't go into the other zone of go watch a movie and then come back for another 15 minutes. Listen to a song, take 5 minutes break, and then come back and again do another 15 minutes of accelerated learning, and then take a break. So this way you will be able to retain things much better rather than sitting for 1 hour or 2 hours with the book. Okay, how to read books and novels in quickly. So as I told you, Muthulakshmi, there is this technique called speed reading. So speed reading is about how you just read the first letter and the last letter in the page. Okay, and try to get what has happened in that page. So I tried speed reading, but I felt that the joy of reading goes away when I try to read books so fast. So there is no hurry for me to my intention is probably I would want to read 10 or 15 novels during a year, so which I usually do. So I have no intention of skimming through 52 novels or 100 novels during a year. So I don't personally believe in that concept of speed reading. So let children take as much time to read books, but bring them that habit of reading books. Okay, so if you want more, I would suggest you to look at speed reading. So type Google speed reading. You will be able to get loads and loads of information on how you can do speed reading. Okay, I'm just going to take one last question, if there is any, or else we are going to call it quits. So next week, as some of you were suggesting, let me do a session on how maths is kind of like important for life. why your children should study maths. Okay, so we'll meet up at the same time at 2 o'clock on Sunday. So 2 to 2:30 or 2 to 2:45, similar time. We will utilize this time and do it. Improving handwriting is important. Yes, of course. So handwriting plays a huge role in your brain development. So improving your handwriting is a very, very vital process. If you can do that in the early ages, it will be kind of like very nice. So give them activity sheets, give them work to write. See, writing slowly, people are losing out the importance of writing. So the cognition from writing has moved on to swiping. So I feel at some point this will come back and hit the developmental milestones of kids. So my suggestion is to go on, definitely work on handwriting. Okay, so how to study maths? So why is some subjects boring and we do not want to study? In my opinion, it is boring because you found a person who is teaching it to you boring. Okay, you need to just find the right tutor. So and automatically the subject would become very interesting to you. See, again, different people have different strengths. So if you're going to ask me to teach mathematics to kids, I probably would suck. But if you are going to ask me to teach science to kids, I would love it, because I love science. So my love and interest for science will automatically go into the kids. So if you are finding some subjects boring, it would probably to some extent be the reason that you have not found the right teacher to help you walk through it. If you have a very good teacher and yet you still find the subjects boring, then I probably ask you to research a little bit more on how that subject would be helpful for your life. So for instance, history. So Sridhar, can you tell me an example what subject is boring to you? So maybe it'll be much easier if I could talk a little bit on that. Sridhar, yours is the last question. If you can just tell me what subjects are boring. See, when I go to schools, a lot of people complain history is boring. We do not want to know what Alexander did. We do not want to know why World War II happened. Okay, but there is a reason why you need to learn history. So once children understand what is in it for history, what is in it in history, then they start connecting the dots. Oh, this is the reason why I need to learn about history. And there is a way on how to learn history. There is a way how to learn science. There is a way how to learn mathematics. So you should not, Muthulakshmi says how to read mathematics. You should not read mathematics. You should do mathematics. You should sit down with the sums and start doing it. So if you are very interested in mathematics, my suggestion is, don't look at the Indian way of teaching mathematics. So learning mathematics, try to see if you can get some question papers from Singapore. So if you see the question answer of a 14-year-old or a 6th standard or a 7th standard kid in Singapore, it will be mind blowing for you. So try to get that and give a couple of question papers to your kids to solve. Once they start loving it, they will automatically fall in love with mathematics. So that's the real way. So, sir, any of them in my school didn't own question in English. Why? Hey, I'm not sure, Malini, what you're asking. So you like it very much. Okay, first thing that you do is probably start this book called Martian. So Martian is about Andy Weir, is about Mars. It's a fantastic read to start learning about space science. And then if you want to learn about, it's a novel, so it's a science fiction novel. If you want to learn hardcore about space science, probably Stephen Hawking's Brief History in Time, or I would suggest The Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. So something like that which could help you. Nitya is asking me how to use blog in a better way. See, for me, see, most people blog to make money. So you are an expert, you want to tell what your expertise in to people. That is one option. The next option is that you have more people visit your blog, you make money out of it. So for me, I recommend kids to use it for the first one. So start telling people whatever you know, start writing. So you will not write a blog just for you to see. So you are writing a blog for others to see. When others start giving you comments and others start giving you feedback, that's the way you would start improving upon yourselves. So that's the use of blog, according to me. So we use a lot of blog in our Steadfast classes. So every child will write a blog. So it's an important part of it. So once they write a blog, not just me, everybody in their family, will start giving feedback. Okay, beta, this is good, this is bad. You can, improve here, you can improve there. The next blog that they write, it will definitely be better than the previous one. So it gives them authority over English. It gives them authority over, whatever subject that they are, talking there in the blog. So that's way. Sir, many of them didn't attend own question in English. Why? Again, I'm sorry. Kind of like, not able to understand the question that you're asking. So Ramesh is asking me, what is the best way of learning science and math? Is through blended learning. So you can, for science, you can use this approach of blended learning or flipped learning. So what we do in my science classes is that I give them the lessons well in advance. See, there are so much of data, so much of knowledge out there. So if, let's say, I want them to learn about a topic on force, so I show them a YouTube video and say, hey, you learn this topic and come to my class. So in the class, we do experiments, or in the class, we talk about how this concept is going to help them with their real life living. Okay, so this will make much more sense to them, and this will make them more interested in what they are learning. See, I learned E is equal to MC square when I was in 10th standard. So at that time, I have no clue what E is equal to MC square means. So I learned it because, it was a 10-mark question. That approach is wrong. That approach is not going to help you from now on. So today people are looking at skill development, and one of the skill development is learning. So learning is a skill that you need to develop. If you don't develop the skill of learning, it is going to be a problem whenever time is going to hit upon them. Okay. I think that's it for today. Next week I'll see you on same time, Sunday, from 2 to 2:40 on the topic how to make maths interesting, how to make children fall in love with maths, why you have to learn about maths. Okay, so last one, Nitya is asking, suggest some memory game sites, sir. So okay, I think probably I'll Google and I'll give you some more options, because we play memory game at home. So there's this other, see, there are loads and loads of memory games. So I'll ask probably Tamil Chelvan to do another session on memory games for you guys separately. Okay, so please do look at the other video by Tamil Chelvan. Okay, so and then you can do that. Thank you so much. Nice talking to you. So this was my first video. So hope to see you guys in more videos in the future. Thank you. Bye-bye.